and they also have very high mortality and morbidity. The emergency department is a problem for us and also for them because nobody want to host them. Nobody want to host, to get this patient to their clinics. So they stay in the emergency department for a long time. So they struggle with the staffs, with the care. So what do we need for this patient? I think we need a new mentality. The authority needs change their mentality for the adults. They need new construction of hospitals. They need to construct new hospital for the adults. How to care this patient, suitable places, and also when they care, they take their care in hospital. They need to transfer to new institution. Think they will be immobilized, and also we need a mentality to increase how we care their patient in their home. So one recommend for the drug company is that please and please work too much to produce new drugs and posology and new doses for this group. And especially I have a recommend for my colleague, young colleague, because Dr. Kumar, me and Dr. Mustafa, we are adults, and the others are youngs. If you want to work on a new area, this is the adults. If we have chance to do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Behçet, I'll thank you very much for your recommendation, all of us. A few minutes later, in the beginning of the ceremony, I will represent a Turkish first geriatric emergency medicines project. So I agree with you. This is so important issue. All of us, we are going to getting ages. So this is a kind of war, as you mentioned also. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you. Is any question or any comment? It's okay, maybe we can finish. Yeah, we can finish. No question. Yes. Okay, we are closing this issue. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you.
Morning, and thank you, Eric, for this brief introduction. Thank you to all the attendees to be here in this room in this early session, and thank you for those who are connected online. Today we are really pleased to have two presenters online. The first one is going to be presented by Eric Review. So please, Eric.
So we'll start with the colleagues on Zoom first, sorry, because they are online. And so we'll have a colleague from China, Africa, and then our speakers. Sorry, we just don't want to have not technical problems. Okay, so it's a pleasure to introduce from China Dr. Wang Zong. Can you hear us, Dr. Zong? Yes.
Yes, I can hear clearly. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go on.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Yes.
Professor Wang Zheng, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can start, please. We can hear.
Pardon me?
We can hear. You can start if you are ready.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do not have a presentation. Miss Wei Jie will in charge of the on behalf of the China to have something to share with you. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Go on, please. You can speak now.
OK，魏老师。
Hi. Hi.
Hi, Wei. Welcome to the meeting.
Hi, wait. Luis?
Yep. We can see you.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We are waiting.
Hear me?
We are waiting for your presentation, Wei.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm in another meeting room. I just want to find some place to speak with you. Just a moment. Maybe here is better. Okay. Okay, maybe here is better to speak with all of you. And according to my President Dr. Wang Zhong, I will see something about COVID-19 in China and about Chinese Emergency Medicine Society. How do we do right now? And actually here in China, we don't have what you called maybe the native cases here, only a few, sometimes from here, sometimes from that place. And we have some cases from outside of China. So what we are doing now is just to keep them alert and do some choose. And we have I once spoke with Louis. We have a special clinic called Fever Clinic, and the Fever Clinic is just in the front of triage of emergency department. Would we call it the pre-triage system, and this system could protect the emergency department to keep the fever patient outside of emergency department. So in this, we do think we are more safe this time, better than something happened before during the 2019 and 2020. This is the situation right here. And we should do our best to balance the common cases and some
We have some technical problems with our Chinese colleagues. We will try to solve them.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the line because the connection is not so good. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, you are online.
Okay, okay. I just find a place. Maybe the situation is better. So this is what we are doing now. Okay.
Thank you, Wei. Anything more to report from your side?
No, I think, I think maybe for me it's okay, and I just want to know if my president has some idea or has some speeches to give. Wang 教授.
Thank you. I'm here. I can hear. Thank you for all of you. Because I am located in Beijing, and Beijing have not more patients here. So we do not do more work about the COVID-19. We just do some prevention and to limit the spread rate of the disease. Why I choose this way to share the experience with you, because they did a lot of work. But right now, all of China have not a few patients. We just some patients come from abroad. So our work right now is to do my best to prevent the patients and prevent the spread rate. We do give all of the people injection of the vaccine. Right now, we have finished about 16 billion, right, 60 billion injection about all of the China, yeah. So that's I want to share to you, and I'd like to listen to other experts to share, and then we can discuss about the things. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wong. Thank you for your ideas, and thank you, Dr. Wei, for your presentation. We are going to move forward. If you are going to be online, please keep attention to the next presentations. Next speaker, Roger. We are going to try to connect with South Africa and see if Dr. Roger Dixon is online.
Good morning, Lewis. Good morning, Eric, and good morning, everybody in the room and online. I am saying very good morning on a bright and sunny spring day in Cape Town.
Thank you, Roger. We can hear you clear, so whenever you want, your floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be involved in the EPAD conference once again, and it's also fantastic to hear such familiar voices and see familiar faces on the screen, and it really is an absolute pleasure. It really goes to show that although the globe is huge, it is very small when it comes to sharing information and for being able to draw on each other's experiences and knowledge. And so it doesn't matter if you're sitting in Antalya or on the southern tip of the African continent, we are able to share knowledge and experiences, and that is how we are able to progress our discipline. This is my hometown. My hospital sits in the middle of the waterfront in Cape Town. And we have been one of the designated COVID-19 hospitals for the province and have been actively involved in its management. Although I'm not in Antalya at the moment, I have been watching the activities from afar, and it's really great to see familiar faces having a great time. And please know that I am there in spirit. It gives me great pleasure to be able to present some of the background regarding the COVID-19 epidemic in South Africa, and the approaches taken in ensuring that we are able to provide the best possible care, though it has been challenging at times. For this presentation, I have nothing to declare other than the fact that I'm a emergency physician, and I come with the requisite warnings. I think, like the rest of the world, we watched the emergence of the, at the time, unknown respiratory pathogen that later became known as SARS-CoV-2. And I think what started to become apparent as it developed in Wuhan and then spread into Europe and the Americas was the high number of fatalities that seemed to be associated with it. And I don't know about you, but that got me really, really worried. Knowing that the health infrastructure on the African continent is often less than ideal, is looking at how we were going to be able to provide care that seemingly first world countries were struggling with. And it came down to caseloads and resource requirements that these cases seem to need. So I told myself, no problem, just keep calm and we'll maybe not that calm, but we would need to watch and see and plan. And as we always do when we're emergency physicians facing a challenge, we just make a plan. So we first heard about the virus emergence in November 2019, but it was only a few months later, and that was in March of 2020, when we saw the first case being documented in South Africa. And all of the original cases were imported from abroad by travelers, and these were both by local nationals who had traveled abroad and had come back, or by foreign tourists who had traveled in from areas. And it seems that whilst it is not that long ago, we are looking at just over 18 months ago, so much has happened between March 2020 and October 2021. This virus has affected every country on the globe and has had significant impact. And looking at the Worldometer stats last night, looking just over 240 million cases with nearly 5 million deaths associated with it. If we look at the international spread of cases, we can see that they have followed in waves, and we've seen a similar pattern here in South Africa. So if I look at the COVID response in South Africa, just to give you an update as to where we stand, we currently have a total just shy of 3 million documented cases, with about 90,000 deaths. These have appeared in 3 very distinct waves. Initially starting with the first case in March of 2020, the peak of the first wave being in August of last year, the peak of the second wave being in January of this year, and we have just passed the peak of the third wave at the end of July of this year and have just officially exited the third wave. What has been noted, though, is the variant dominance for the various waves. We saw that the first wave was a mixed variant. There was no particular variant that dominated. The second wave was the so-called beta variant, which was initially described in South Africa and has since spread across the globe. And then the third wave was dominated by the so-called Delta variant. And what we have seen with these 3 waves is that each successive wave has produced higher numbers of patients and has an increased duration of wave. And this has certainly put strain onto the healthcare facilities, and in particular, the healthcare workers that are dealing with it. The updated numbers from this morning show that in the past 24 hours, we had 942 new cases diagnosed and documented in the country, bringing our cumulative numbers up to just less than 3 million. We do see a gender preference in that there are more women that have been documented to have COVID-19 than men. And if we look at the age groups from a case numbers perspective, they predominate in the middle age groups, which is understandable in that they tend to be the more out and about individuals engaged in commerce, engaged in schooling, whereas the other age groups tend to have been protected either by social distancing or by early vaccinations. The initial response from our government, and this was back in March of 2020, was to institute the infamous lockdowns. And our country put into place adjusted alert levels, and this was determined by the number of case numbers, and from that, the number of hospital admissions that were anticipated. And it raised from alert level 5, which was complete lockdown. Only essential workers were allowed to leave their homes. And it included things like alcohol and cigarette bans for that period. And that alert level lasted for a period of 6 weeks. We've then seen, as we've moved through the different waves, variations between level 1 and level 4, and these are adjusted according to the current case numbers and the anticipated pressure on hospitals. There has been an attempt to achieve balance, understanding that we cannot be in lockdown forever. You cannot hide from a virus, and whilst we are trying to protect lives, we also need to be able to protect livelihoods. And that really has been the buzz phrase from our state president, was to the objectives being to protect lives and to protect livelihoods. The initial messaging was fairly simplistic and really came down to maintaining good hygiene with appropriate hand care and hand washing, social distancing, and the use of face masks. And this was really the mainstay of the initial response, which initially was met with enthusiasm by the population. But as we've progressed over the last 18 months, we have seen a degree of pandemic fatigue, where people are tired of wearing masks, where people are tired of distancing from their friends and family.